Tracy Orsak, and I'm applying for a supervisory position in your district. I have received your set of questions and appreciate the time that I had to formulate my responses and the opportunity today to share with you my philosophy of instructional supervision. Question number 1 asked, what is the definition of instructional supervision? Instructional supervision is the orchestration of the campus's mission, vision, and goals. An instructional supervisor is going to orchestrate and coordinate all of the successful elements that come together to push the campus toward the accomplishment of its goals and move toward the realization of its mission and vision. The ultimate purpose of supervision is the continuous improvement of instruction. And we know that when instruction improves, that student learning improves. Eric Jensen said the single most important aspect of improved learning in students is high quality instruction. So when good teachers are doing good things in classrooms, then students learn. I want to formulate a partnership of expertise between me, the supervisor, and teachers. Because I know that when teachers feel empowered and they feel that they are a part of shared decision making, they're more likely to be innovative. They're more likely to embrace change. They're more likely to be self-reflective of their own teaching practices and have collegial dialogue with others to move toward improvement. I want to meet the needs of the teachers in my building. I want to grow them as educators. The ultimate purpose of why we're here, our prime directive, is the achievement and success of our students. So teachers need to be empowered with instructional practices that provide meaningful learning experiences for students. And we have to keep that as our primary focus. That the students are at the forefront of our minds at all times. What supervisory approach works best for me? Well, in the perfect world, teachers would need non-directional approaches, that they would feel completely autonomous and have all the resources they needed to make educational decisions for their own students. I know that that's not the current reality, that there are teachers in the building who need more direction, teachers who would appreciate more collaboration. So I'm going to say that the supervisory approach that works best for most teachers in the building is collaborative. But I'm always going to work for growth. So if I have a teacher who really needs a lot of direction, I'm going to move them toward directional informational and then move them toward collaborative. So there's always going to be this growth and learning of teachers' pedagogy. So while I seek collaboration, I seek that mutual shared decision-making, mutual trust in one another and ability to educate their students, that they feel empowered and that they know that I trust them and their intent to do the right thing and their intent and their abilities to give quality instruction. Just like we have high expectations of our students, and that we have expectations that our students, and we trust that our students have the ability to learn, and we have high intentions that our students want to do the right thing. And the same thing goes for teachers. We trust one another. We have collective teacher efficacy. We trust one another that the teacher down the hall, the teacher next door, the teacher on the second floor has good intentions, that they're bringing their best, and that they have the ability to provide high quality instruction. And if they don't, they're going to seek out ways to get better. Why does this approach work best for me? Well, I do wish to resolve problems and grow teachers. And I know that when teachers feel empowered, they're more likely to embrace innovation, and they're more likely to be self-reflective, and they're more likely to know when change is needed. We have to utilize the expertise that teachers bring to the table. And we want them to have those conversations with one another and with their supervisors on what's best for students. What is, again, our prime directive? What knowledge and skills, attitudes, and values do successful supervisors possess? Well, this is an interesting question because I was just at AEL training this past week, and this was actually an activity that we talked about. We had these big pieces of paper. We did a chalk talk strategy, and we had these big pieces of paper out, and we were writing down all these ideas, and we did a gallery walk. And there are a lot of skills, attitudes, and values that successful supervisors need. But I'm going to start with a high emotional intelligence, cultural awareness, social and emotional learning awareness. Good listening skills, growth mindset come to mind as well. High expectations of themselves, their teachers, and the students in the building. They're present and live with integrity. They're action-based. We talk a lot about what's wrong with public education, but once we know our needs, we need to put an action plans in place, and we need to evaluate them and analyze them, assess them, and work from there. Supervisors are organized and don't waste time. I think that's also integral to being successful. What are the needs of teachers? Again, just like the list of supervisory expertise, the needs of teachers are there's a lot. I think teachers need safety, physical safety, as well as feeling safe to take educational risks in their classrooms. They do need high expectations. We know that even as adults, if we don't have expectations and make those expectations clear, that we will create our own in the absence. They need autonomy and trust that they are doing the right thing and that they are giving their best. Clarity of instructional practices and support in integrating those instructional practices through coaching into their lessons. They need mentors, and they need to be set up for success. By having resources they need, yes, but also thinking of things like scheduling, the master schedule. When we set up the master schedule successfully, then we're setting teachers up for success. How do we build and what makes for positive relationships between supervisors and teachers? I believe shared decision-making and partnerships, using the growth mindset that together we're going to work together and work toward that common vision. Listening to teachers, making teachers feel that they are a part of the decisions that affect their students and their students' learning. Having a supervisor that has an accurate picture of the current reality that's occurring in their classrooms. What types of activities should be part of instructional supervision? A clarity of mission, vision, and goals, and that the mission, vision, and goals are not wallpaper on the wall, that they are overt and they are clear and they are consistently discussed amongst the campus. A wide variety and knowledge of instructional strategies and how to put those strategies into place. A good firm hand at assessing instructional practices, a working knowledge of policy, the ability to run a budget, culture building, knowledge of research-based instructional practices, development of self and others, and ability to resolve conflict. What changes should be made in regard to the current practice of instructional supervision? Well, I think a lot of times we have this idea, whether it's true or not, that supervisors are there to really just make deficits accentuated in teachers. Like, what are they doing wrong? What's wrong with their instruction? But really, I'm not sure if that's really true. I've never been in a building where the supervisor was just set on controlling the teachers or watching the teachers and making sure they're doing the right thing at all times. But I do believe that working toward a common vision, having goals created and a mission and vision in place, and having that working partnership and a shared expertise between the supervisor and the teacher is going to create real change in education and student achievement. I think we have to remember the why again. Why are we here? We're here for instructional improvement. We're here for the students. And when we keep the why in the forefront, then we're going to be successful. The purpose of education. Well, this is interesting because, you know, we think go back to the history of education, and we always want the assurance and promise of a better democracy. And I'm not knocking that in any way. That's extremely important, but it's just a little dry. And I think that there's more to it than that. I do believe that education serves the development of character and the instruction of content. We want a population that is educated so that they can make informed decisions. We want an educated populace that is able to think for themselves and have opinions and be innovative. Educated people are charitable and empathetic and grateful. They are more tolerant of people who are different. They embrace equity and change. And so that's what we want. We want students to know content, to be able to read, but we also want characters. We want people who have quality character, who have those skills that aren't hardwired. Who should control the learning environment? Well, the teacher is the ultimate orchestrator of the classroom, but we do want and promote student-centered learning. So the student then becomes the ultimate control of the learning. We want to build self-efficacy in our students. We teach them how to create goals and assess their own learning. The teacher is there as the facilitator of student-centered learning. We want to push the workload of learning onto the students. So the teacher coordinates and orchestrates, and the supervisor is there to support and provide resources to make that happen. Under what conditions is student learning consistent? Well, the brain craves consistency, and so learning is going to occur best when you have 4 pieces working together in a system. The first one is a sound foundation. So the classroom is built on an idea of safety and support and belonging, and the students feel like they can take educational risk, and learning is up to them, and they're empowered to learn. Just like we empower teachers to teach, we empower students to learn. And the in-classroom environment is also very important. The physical space, neat and tidy, and there's a lack of chaos. Students know what to expect. The atmosphere of the classroom is also important. This is the social and emotional aspect of the classroom. That students know when they walk in, they know where they stand, and they know that the teacher cares about them and there's a relationship there. And then finally, the design and delivery of content. That we know instructional practices that impact student learning, that we follow those in the design of our lessons and in the delivery of our content. And again, just as we set up teachers for success, we set up students for success. So students know what success looks like, feels like, and sounds like. Well, thank you so much